Hello, beautiful people. It is another episode of Kit Season. I'm not going to be talking all that much because I want to just go ahead and address the elephant in the room, and it's the person in my top left corner. Brett, you were missing, and now you are no longer missing. Welcome back, Brett.
Yay! Glad to be back.
So you decided to go do like work and then go like visit family, which like I don't know. It sounds like you're skipping on the job if you ask me,
Mhm.
but
The side
I went
job
on a
or the
cruise.
pay the bills job?
who cares about paying the bills when you're trying to provide lower league soccer content, honestly?
Right.
Culture, and I support it.
For the culture.
Hey, look, there's a lot of stuff going on here, a lot of stuff we need to get through. But I want to go through and I want to thank our patrons. We got John Hunt, Frank Anthony, Aaron J, Christopher Cohn, Harry Austin, John Fuller, Michael Fuchs, Joshua Duder, and Noah Telford. You're new. Thank you for being a part of the Patreon community. Tomorrow, a new episode of For the Glove of the Game is hitting your inbox, and we're super excited about that. I can say it. It's Jake McGuire from North Carolina. It's exciting. So get in, have a good time. I love the first episode, but this isn't what we're here for. Who cares about soccer when we can have fashionable vibes? But
It's FC Fashion Club.
true. Now, I do have to say this. In my humble opinion, do you know who has the best kits? I think goalkeepers have the best kits.
I don't want to answer this question.
Yeah.
Listen, my opinion is goalkeepers have the best kits. They're the ones that get to wear the long sleeves, and no one says, "Hey, dude, it's not that cold, pal." And no one ever says anything.
It's
You get to
98
wear.
degrees, bro.
Everybody else is wearing like black and white, and you get to wear green or pink or whatever. That's
You
pretty
want all
cool.
the colors? If you're
Or all the
Denmark?
colors. Also, you get to wear these things called gloves. Everybody else is like, "Oh, my hands are cold." Guess what? I got cool gloves. I'm no longer cold. I think it's pretty cool to be a goalkeeper. Do you know who else thinks it's cool to be a goalkeeper? Brandon Miller, the owner of a Prime Focus Goalkeeping. And guess what? This upcoming Monday, you can still go out to their President's Day weekend, like goalkeeping clinic that they're putting on. He says that they are the best goalkeeping staff in the Carolinas. I think he's a liar. I think it's all of the Southeast. I'm just going to say that for you, Brandon.
Maybe just the whole
You're welcome.
South.
How about the whole country? I don't know if I can say that because that
North
is
America.
the world. Real. I mean, this is the biggest league in the world, and
Probably
he is a
Milky
champion
Way.
of the biggest league in the world. So, listen, go check out Prime Focus goalkeeping. Even if you can't make it out to the Carolinas to go do your goalkeeping clinics, I bought gloves. I used the gloves. I can't catch anything. I was catching everything. Kind of impressive. The gloves are quality. They ship all over the U.S. It is really good stuff. If you're in the U.K., they might ship. I didn't check. I don't live outside the U.S., so I don't know. But
You don't
check
just
it out.
test shipping. It's like, oh, I wonder if I can ship this to Australia. Let's see what happens.
We'll find out. Somebody's going to try. Somebody's going to try and be really disappointed. But it's okay. Check out primefocusgoalkeeping.com. They are great. Their merch is amazing. Their gloves are fantastic. And the coaching is top quality. Speaking of top quality, I want to talk about top quality. And it is one of the newer like kit producers on the scene, which is, we have over here Equipped Studios and Mr. Austin Chen from the Circle City, Indianapolis, Indiana. What's up, Austin?
Hello. Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, thank you for hopping on. You are the founder of Equipped Studios, and I think you're not doing yourself enough service here on founder. You're like the everythinger. What is your role at Equipped, and what is Equipped Studios?
Well, I'm the founder. I'm the lead designer. I do fortunately have some help now in kind of the partnership space as we're looking to expand. What was the second part of your question?
Like, what is Equipped Studios? Like, when did you guys start, and what is your main goal? Because it's not just football kits.
Yeah, absolutely. So we like to call ourselves an independent creative agency. So yeah, it's not just about kits. We actually didn't set out to be a kit manufacturer at all. We set out to focus on branding. I know that that's something that you guys are very interested in. we set out to focus on really logo design, especially in lower tier U.S. soccer. Um, you know, you don't always have the best, or maybe I'll say most original crests out there. And I saw a need that, hey, let's make good design accessible to every team, every player, every club, even if it's a Sunday League team. Like, I don't care. Like, I want to make you guys feel like you're professionals. I'm a Sunday League player myself. I know what that's like. So, um, to to go a little bit further back, I'm actually not a graphic designer by trade. I am an electrical engineer by day. And in 2020, in the pandemic, I was furloughed and then let go. So, I, like a lot of other people, found myself with extra time. The job search process was pretty painful, as I'm sure you guys know. And I felt like I needed to do something creatively in order to feel like I was doing something productive, whether that's, reading a book or doing a programming project. That's what us electronic engineers like to do. We program for fun. But I turned to one of my other pastimes, which is design. I've always been interested in graphic design ever since I took a class in high school, and even considered minoring in it in college. But with the engineering workload, it just wasn't possible. But nevertheless, I kept doing that, for fun. I would design shirts for intramural teams, for our dorm room floors. If I had friends that were in Greek life, I'd design, shirts for their fraternities, things like that. And over the years, I just found myself, even, there was always a skill that I had, something I was interested in. I always found myself applying it to whatever I was most passionate about at the time. So whether that was soccer, whether that was hockey, or whether that was, I always found a way to use graphic design as a way to further entrench myself in that passion. So in the pandemic, I, was really wanting to find an outlet. I decided, let's figure out a way to do something creative. Let's put out a call and see who has a soccer team that they need a logo redesign for. So it was largely, recreational teams. There was actually a professional team from, I think, Bosnia, maybe, which was a genuine surprise. Talked to the head coach there and did a crest redesign for them. There was an amateur team out of Australia, a bunch of high school friends. I ended up doing about 6 logos for, just for free, just for fun, just to put it out there. And when I took a step back, I realized, wow, this is actually decent. This is a body of work that I'm proud of, even though this is, traditionally something I've just done as a hobby. And I decided to take it a little bit more seriously. Part of the story here is that, not being someone who went to art school, I've always felt, imposter syndrome to some effect. Like, I know I like my designs, but it can't compare to someone who has gone to school and studied this for 4 years. Having done that exercise, I realized, what I do is of a high enough value, I can start charging people for this. And so I decided to start Equip Studios. It was really a way for me to legitimize what I was doing. I'm no longer just the guy doing it, in his proverbial mom's basement, doing it for fun. I have a company. I can charge people. I'm to be taken seriously. And I mentioned there's a team from Australia, Western Banners FC. Great name. Don't know what it means. I don't think they even know what it means, but came up with a great logo for them. And they liked it so much that they said, hey, is there any way we can get this on jerseys? They sent me a photo of a jersey they had done in the Adidas, Adidas kit creator. I'm not sure if you guys have played with that, Brett. I feel like you're probably familiar with that.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of USL teams use that back in the day. I think it's called Locker Vision now, or Adidas Locker. In any case, it's like the standard teamwear customizer, right? So they took their logo and threw it on, an Adidas template, and they're like, hey, can we make this happen? I'm like, well, you can. It's very expensive through Adidas. It's basically the exact same thing that USL teams go through. It ends up being, if you want to order like a single jersey, like $100+ for a consumer. It's different if you're a team, you get a better rate, but it gets pricey, especially if you want, the logos to be sewn on or screen printed, applied by vinyl, things like that. So I said, yeah, I think technically you can, but I don't know if you guys are high school students. I don't think you want to pay that kind of money, and you're in Australia. I honestly don't know if you have the same
What's the
service
shipping?
available.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. The shipping alone, I don't want to think about that. And I came to a realization that, I was in a very interesting position because as an electrical engineer, I'm used to working with factories overseas. And so I have the ability to source and find, factories that manufacture soccer jerseys. And I was like, I might actually have a way. If you are willing to bear with me, this will be an experiment, but I think I can make custom jerseys for you. And it ended up being successful. And really since then we've pivoted. I won't say pivoted away from logo design, but we're primarily known for or kit design now. This is something that maybe is a tangent we can get into later too, but I also found that particularly in the pandemic, it was a lot more difficult to convince clubs, especially lower tier clubs, to spend money, a not inconsiderable amount of money, hundreds of dollars, sometimes into thousands of dollars, to do a rebrand. That's not something tangible. A jersey is something that you can hold. You can say, oh yeah, I spent money and I got this in return. So that was part of it too. The traction just made a lot more sense. So I feel like I've been rambling for quite a while, but that's kind of the genesis of Equip Studios.
Yeah, and I will say first and foremost, I'm happy you committed to this. I love your stuff. I have like 3 of your kits. I absolutely love your work, and I also appreciate you as an engineer. I studied for 2 years of it before I failed, so I appreciate you that you passed and while I failed. So, but one of the things you touched up on was trying to be accessible for people, right? And one of the things that you recently did with your latest edition of Kit, especially this one, and then I think the home one, was it's called what did you call it? The pay as I'm trying to say it, the pay what you want model. Like I want to kind of see because it's kind of an innovative.
There's that Australian team, by the way. That's the logo I created for them.
Ooh, love that. My question is, first explain kind of what that is and kind of see what you've seen so far, because I know just for these 2 kits and kind of what was your thinking behind that as you kind of already
absolutely. So to kind of preface that, this was a project that we did for an international club. This was our first professional club that we had the privilege of outfitting. Brett's wearing the away jersey from 2023. I'm wearing the home jersey from 2022. And yeah, our director of global partnerships was, we were fortunate enough that he found this opportunity. Oh yeah, there you go, Brett. That's the jersey I'm wearing right now. He was fortunate enough to find this opportunity, and it wasn't handed to us. We had to win our way to it through basically a design competition. Yeah, for the second year of the partnership, we wanted to do something special. We really stepped up. I guess if we want to talk on the technical side, jersey is made by a completely different factory. It's lighter. It's got a really nice 3D crest, which is not something that a lot of entry level jersey brands can offer. But additionally, we knew we had to make a splash if we wanted to get this kit out there. Equip Studios is not something that most people are aware of, even if they are in the soccer space or in the jersey collecting space. So we really wanted to, I don't want to say go viral, but we want to do something different that would attract attention. And on top of that, this is a team from the Philippines that, most people don't know about. They probably don't even know about the league or that there is professional soccer in the Philippines. So what we did was something which it came to me and I thought, well, surely that's been done before. And I did some digging. I consulted some uniform experts and it turns out this maybe was an original thought. So the idea was, you see a lot of bands or authors, they'll release a digital product, right? And they'll say, you can pay what you want for it. We came out with a new album. You can pay $10, that would be great. That's what an album usually costs. If you just want it for free, that's fine too. We would rather have you listen to it and gain fans than to, not have this out there in the world. Same with audiobooks, right? But it's very easy when it's a digital asset. You don't have to manufacture multiple copies of it. Once you create the work, you can give it to whoever you want, and that's it. So this is a little bit radical in that we decided to take the same approach and apply it to jerseys. So it's not completely the same. There is a base cost, the minimum price, and you can go to our website right now and you can still buy the jersey that Brett has for a minimum cost of $30. Or, I think we have the recommended price set to $60 or $70. That's what, you would expect a kit for a lower league team, like a lot of USL teams, I think priced in the 60, 70, 80, maybe sometimes up to $90 range, depending on whether it's replica or authentic.
Yeah, it's starting to go up a little.
Yeah. So if you want to support the club, if you want to support Equip Studios, if you want to support, good design, then yeah, we'll welcome that. We appreciate the support. But, my mindset going into this was, I feel very fortunate to be doing what I'm doing, and I would rather have people be able to get their hands on this for $30 than to have someone say, you know what, $50 is a little bit too rich for me. I appreciate the design, but I'm not going to buy this and purchase it in my closet. Purchase it, have it in my closet, and have it be available for me to wear. So yeah, it ended up working out. We ended up selling all over the world. Let's see, US, Great Britain, Germany, Canada, Philippines, France, Australia, Belgium, Israel, Singapore, New Zealand, South Korea. I think I just had a jersey shipped to Hong Kong the other day, which is first time we've done that. So
Nice.
I think it really struck a chord with people, especially with you guys saw the MLS kits just getting released this week and last week. The authentics are what, $190?
Yeah.
150
Authentic
without the
with
money.
name on bag.
Yeah. So it's getting out of hand, and that's not something that even if we could charge that, that's not something that we would feel comfortable doing. So we wanted to kind of subvert things a little bit, turn it on its head. Hey, get this for the cost of a t-shirt. Really, t-shirts normally cost what, $30 to $40 if you get like a nice graphic tee. So have our best product. You'll see what the quality is like, and I'd rather have people out there saying, hey, this is a great company, they do great stuff, rather than pocket a few extra dollars.
We have a question from the chat from Orange and Black Soccer Cast, and it says, Austin, what are your thoughts about the lack of tall collars or fringe on modern kits?
So I'm curious, how would you define fringe? I guess in terms of collars, let's just take polo collars, for example. I think, there's something to be said about, the classiness of a tall collar, of a polo collar. But, we try to keep this in mind when we designed, Brett and I think you guys too are jersey collectors, but at the end of the day, there are players that need to wear these. And we hear a lot of comments, especially, since we were designing for a team in the Philippines, as an example, they wanted something that was as light as possible, as non-distracting as possible. I think fringe would kind of fall in that category too. So, I think in recent years, you've seen a trend for anniversary kits to be kind of tone on tone. I kind of like that approach myself. We've done more muted colorways, actually for a local pickup soccer group, Broad Ripple. Brett will know what that is. That's kind of like the cultural district of Indianapolis. There's a big pickup soccer group. We did an anniversary jersey for them, and it was kind of an off-white with green accents. Green is the primary color. So there are ways to go about achieving that sort of same effect of kind of a retro or throwback kit without necessarily needing to lean on some of the older technologies.
Yeah. Which I will say before our next question, I am a little upset I did not get that Broad Ripple soccer, the away one, the 20th anniversary with a collar. I'm kind of upset I didn't buy that. So it's right up my alley. So just wanted to say
we might be able to sort you out, Brett. Just hit me up.
I got you.
All right.
Hey.
Real fast, I am going to share my screen from Orange and Black Soccer Cast. This is what he want you to do, and just get your first off the cuff reaction.
Oh, I already
just,
know what it's going to be. I'm very familiar with the Colorado caribou. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This exists.
Oh, does it exist?
That is a real chapter of American soccer. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the
This
they
is the
brought it
modern
back.
one.
This is the newer
Yeah.
version.
Yeah,
This isn't the original. They brought this
No.
back, what, 1 or 2 years ago?
yeah.
Yeah.
I've always been a big fan of the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, and I
there you go.
appreciate the soccer version.
There you go. Yep.
I'm
No.
surprised you didn't know about that, Brett.
I'm surprised I didn't know about this until now.
I've seen this. I've put this deep back into my mind because I've seen this before, and like the second I saw it, I mean,
I think the real question is, do Brits know about this? Like, we know about this, but like, does the rest of the is this a carefully guarded secret that is never going to leave the U.S.
Okay.
borders?
think
That might be for the best.
I think at one point, like Tom Bogert, I never know how to pronounce it. I think he was on the search for one. I feel like it because I think he's with the Athletic, ended up getting to international, and is like, there's no shot this is real. Like, I'm pretty sure it ended up. I understand that you probably want to have like good relationships with people, but not our job. Like with the New England Revolution being like doing the dots, which I think the dots look cool on their Tea Party kit, but they've released the dots represent the ripples in the water that revolutionized America and what they were doing. It's like stuff like this. Let's just be honest. This is for the vibes and nothing else.
this represents the Wild West, just America. This is
question
nothing
from
but
Julian.
America. Right?
I just love it.
Question from Julian, by the way, as I'm getting this off of the screen.
Aw. Okay, that's a
Austin,
better
do you
choice.
have a favorite USL club? And if you do or don't, do you have a
I'm
favorite
assuming he
kit that you've
does.
seen around the USL?
I think Brett already knows the answer to this one. To the first question, Indy 11,
Okay.
boys in blue, for sure.
So say I
Gotta
assume
support
that,
hometown.
you
We
know,
outnumber you, bots, 2-1.
Favorite kit.
our boys beat an MLS team today. So what?
I-
Also, my MLS team. Sorry, Austin,
current USL or previously USL? Because I would have to give an honorable mention to San
Sure.
Diego Loyal.
Yeah.
Rest in
Oh,
peace.
Yeah. Rest in
Um,
peace.
Last year, probably.
Yeah,
We
I mean,
discovered last week you can still buy their kits on Charlie.
You can.
yeah.
full price.
I mean, Charlie did. I mean, wow. I don't know if you guys have seen those kits in person, but it is.
I have one.
You get the quality is superb. I mean, it's equivalent. It's probably, I'd say it would surpass a lot of Nike and Adidas products, and you're getting that for half the price, if that. But beyond that, as a designer, I really appreciate that not only are the ideas really sound, but they're so well executed. The Rocket League sponsored kit is the teal kit with the orange. It was like the gradient stripes. It was almost like a Houston Astros. It had like orange and yellow stripes across the middle, and then it had like a top graphical map texture in the back. I mean, it's just every single part of that.
one.
Yeah.
I was talking to the loyal people who do the kits, and I was fighting so hard to get the Rocket League goalkeeper kit and getting what a save with an exclamation mark on the back. And they were like, we literally can't do exclamation marks. And I'm like, well, then there's no point. I have to have it. What a save, what a save, what a save, what a save.
That's
chat's been
amazing.
disabled for 4 seconds. Like, I have to. Or
Your chat's been disabled for 6 seconds. Yeah.
I respect that.
another question. Favorite World Cup kit?
International, yeah.
Oh man.
Because they can be boring too. So there's
Mhm.
Which along with that, actually, no. Yeah, just to enter this, I'll ask my follow-up.
I think I'm gonna have to go the opposite route and choose this for sentimental reasons. It must have been 20. It was U.S. Algeria, Landon Donovan. That was when that was when soccer really clicked for me. I think before that, so that was, I'm gonna date myself here, but that was, I think, sophomore year of college for me. And before that, I'd always played soccer growing up, but I never really got it. And I was one of those people who, you know, I thought soccer was boring to watch on TV. It wasn't until that World Cup when I saw that it was that game. I remember it vividly. I was in a rented apartment up in Michigan for an internship, and it all made sense. All of a sudden, it wasn't any one play. It was they were just passing it across the field, and I understand like, oh, this is like chess. This is not like basketball or hockey. It's not straight up and down. This like I get it now. So I'm gonna have to choose that just for sentimental reasons. I think in terms of design, everyone loves the Waldos. I don't know if that's even necessarily the best U.S. I don't think I would pick that, but I'll pick that for sentimental reasons.
Nice.
I feel that. I feel that deeply because the 2010 World Cup, I felt the exact same way. Like that clicked for soccer for me. So like the bomb pops, the away polos, those things, like I just love them so much more. Like there's other cool ones that are probably better, but those USA kids just fall in my heart.
I guess as a follow-up to that, if a favorite international kit from my collection, I have the 2014 gray goalkeeper jersey. Related to the intro, I do play goalkeeper myself. I love a good goalkeeper kit.
Nice.
And it's not the same one that Tim Howard wore when he broke the record with the saves against Belgium, but it's the gray version, and I think it's really classy. It's got like gradient chevrons up and down the sleeves. It's just a nice look.
I just realized how dumb I am because I said 2010, I meant 2014. It was the bomb pops and the polo. That was
all good.
Redacted.
Hey,
Scrub that
we're
from
not
the
historians here, Fox.
but it's live.
So my next question is it's still on the national team a little thing. I think we had kind of asked just 2 weeks ago is so obviously one of the things that Fox and I kind of harp on when we are like rating kits here is the what's it called? Taking in effect that team's local community and that identity into their kits. And obviously with the one you're wearing now, there's kind of a topographical kind of map on
It's
it.
a
and
normal map. It's not a topographical.
Whatever. It's a map. Okay.
Street map.
And
Street. Thank you.
So it's presented here. So one of the things that we wanted to ask kind of how do you incorporate those into your kits? And then, like kind of if that's like it's not something you aim for. And then also kind of I know there's 2 questions in here, sorry. With like the national team kits, how they can kind of form like a national identity and kind of some of your thoughts and kind of how sometimes those kits can kind of be bland.
So to answer your first question, I think it kind of comes down to how do you approach a design and make it meaningful, right? That's something that I'm very conscious of as a designer. There are a lot of concept kit designers on Instagram that are very talented, but they kind of create designs that really could work for any team out there. They throw together a PSG concept and it's like, okay, but what makes this, other than that fact that it's navy and red and white, what makes this? You could just change the colors and that would work for any of the clubs that you've just designed kits for every day for the past how many weeks, months, years. So it's not a knock against them. Quite honestly, a lot of them are more talented than I am. But I think I've tried to. There are so many of those guys out there. I try not to play in their space. I know what my strengths are, and that's how to approach design thoughtfully and to make sure it gets executed well. So, as an example, in this case, this team is Maharlika Manila of the Philippines Football League. It's the top tier of professional play in the Philippines. I knew with such a big global city like Manila, we needed to highlight Manila. And this was unfortunately, towards so this is what 2022. This was towards the beginning. I think I can say that safely. Towards the beginning of the map kit trend. I think every team has done it now since. But more importantly, this was something that, again, fusing technology and design, I figured out a way to get a map of Manila into the design program that I use, and I knew that most people would not be able to figure that out. That's something that previously only the big companies like Nike and Adidas would have access to that, and I found a way to do that as an independent graphic designer, as an independent company. There were a lot of, this wasn't necessarily a first choice. There are a lot of things you can do when you approach a design for a team, especially one that's as from a city as big as Manila. We kept in mind, like the seal of Manila has a merlion, which is pretty cool. It's a fusion between a mermaid and a lion. It has like a seashell. It has waves on it.
Hold on.
We're gonna need to pause on that, right?
Merlion?
I'm pretty sure. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Quick Google.
It's it's head of the lion, body of a fish.
Oh, yep.
We're learning so much on this. Like,
This
Is the
is
official
interview. You're just informing us.
Oh.
that's
Well,
a
if
giant
this is the
statue.
coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's a
Hold
giant
on.
statue.
Hold on.
Yeah.
For the people,
Yeah,
this is the merlion. Allegedly.
that's worth a visit. That's worth a visit right there.
Oh, that is the merlion.
I gotta see this.
So beneath the merlion, in the crest of the city of Manila, are waves, and we use that for the wake kit. So there are different ways you can go about it, but ultimately, like I said, this was part of the design contest, and we knew that an all black kit would really resonate. We knew that a map kit would really resonate. We did want to pander a little bit, but then beyond that, it was also very purposeful, because you'll notice in Brett's jersey too, pink and blue are the colors of the team, which is great. It's its greatest asset. Those are no other team has that aside from maybe like
Use the colors. I'm sorry to interrupt. Use the colors. Like, we harp on that all the time. So many teams have amazing colors. Memphis just killed us. Yeah, I'll say it. Memphis. I won't cough. I have nothing wrong. Memphis killed us because they have amazing colors that they just literally killed the colors. They did a monochrome for their logo too.
And sometimes a team's colors can be a greatest strength and the greatest weakness. So we pink and blue, those are what, like printer toner colors, those are not colors that should be together in a normal setting unless you have a lot of black or a lot of white around it. So we knew we wanted to make those colors shine, but we needed to do it in a way that didn't overpower the kit. So that's why you have, just the two central stripes, kind of racing stripes, one in pink, one in blue here. Of course, we kind of broke that rule with the kit that Brett's wearing, and we said, screw it. We're just going to put the color everywhere. Let's make it garish. Let's make it bold. Let's make it something that you can't look away from. But, you can't really go in between. It's really one or the other. And so we were conscious of that. I think that answers the first part of your question, Brett. The second part was national team identities, having the same kit every year versus having something different every year.
Or like how like the US and kind of, at least there's been an idea that their like home kits are kind of bland out there, pretty much just like a white t-shirt or sometimes, or they're very vague because they have to encompass an entire country, right?
Yeah. I think it's a spectrum, right? You look at, I think Brazil maybe is the best example. They have to have a yellow top. They have to have blue shorts. The yellow top doesn't really change much. And you can argue that when it does, it's sometimes for the worse. People just want a plain yellow shirt. You can add a pattern to it. You can add, all over patterns are very in right now. We do a lot of those. But they do Jaguar print, cheater print recently. Like, I don't know if that really landed. So there's that's kind of one extreme. On the other extreme, I think the US kind of, at least maybe for their away kits, falls in the category of not really having a distinct, I think if you ask 5 different people what their favorite away kit for the US looks like, and you'll get probably 3 or 4 different answers. So we do tend to wear white, but beyond that, is it a sash? Is it stripes? Is it stars? Is it plain? Is it
Venom.
Yeah,
So,
we
and
don't
there's
have that
something
in
somewhere in between. You have like the Frances and the Spains and things like that. I don't know. I personally think, there's something to be said about the strength of just having a single color shirt. You see a yellow shirt and it's Brazil.
Yeah.
You see navy or white, it's France.
blue and white, baby blue, white stripes.
Yep. I mean,
Argentina, every time.
you talk about branding, right? Brand there. If you don't even need to see a logo and you know who it is, that's powerful.
Mhm.
And I think some countries maybe miss out on that because they're trying to do too much or they're trying to sell too much merch, and so they want to do something different every time. But if you're not building a cohesive identity, then it's short-term games versus long-term games. If you want to have something that's recognizable, so there's a balance to be had for sure. And I think you see this a lot with some of the older teams too. Like Tottenham shirt is always white, right? So how are you going to get someone to buy a white shirt every year with a rooster on it? Like,
Right.
there's only so much you can do. Sometimes they miss, sometimes they hit, but there are ways to go about it. And that's part of our challenge as designers is to figure out how to make it just interesting enough, but while still respecting the identity of the club. I will say too, as Equip Studios has only been around for 3-4 years now, and so we're fortunate in that we do work with a lot of newer clubs, so we are able to kind of not be burdened by like, oh, they've worn this color for 50 years now, so like it has to be this color and you can't change anything. We are able to be a little bit more creative. We're able to pitch like, hey, I know this is a little bit out there, but what if we did this? And for the most part, their teams are receptive.
I just want you to know I'm going through a massive rabbit hole right now, and I want to totally butcher
Heck yeah.
the name. Maharlika.
Maharlika.
Thank you.
Yep.
There's an American on the team named Tyler John who apparently played for the Seattle Sounders.
Yes, sir. He was an indoor soccer player, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And
I am through such a rabbit hole right now, and I'm really listening, but I'm so intrigued at just random Tyler John, that's not a real name.
That's an American name. That's the most American name.
He's in witness protection. Like,
some questions.
So the founder of Maharlika Manila is a former Philippines national team player. Yeah. He lives in California. He lives in LA. I went and visited him with Jason. Brett, you might know him. He's our director of global partnerships. And yeah, I mean he's very in tune with the American soccer landscape, and was able to find a professional indoor soccer player, I think MASL maybe, that he thought would excel in the Philippines. And I don't think he was the top scorer, but he was maybe like the second or third top goal scorer in their domestic cup campaign in 2023. So the bet paid off.
Excellent pickup.
Yeah, I have some quick questions. This one from the chat, this is a two-parter for me. Which company makes the best feeling jerseys? Nike, Adidas, Hummel, Charlie, etc. Yourself. But also follow up on that, and this is something we asked Hummel as well. When you're looking for a material, obviously you want to make it as affordable as you can. You said it earlier, that's something that you do, pay as you can, like do what you can. How do you balance cheap garbage and getting out a quality product?
Yeah, high quality, low price.
Yeah, I'll answer your second question first because I think it's maybe a little bit easier. For the most part, fabric technologies have come along enough that you're not generally going to be disappointed unless you're Castore and somehow you pick garbage bag plastic. But for the most part, we haven't had issues
It's good.
with picking a material that is going to not perform. That said, there are kind of favorites. We have it's a ventilated polyester blend that we use for the backs of our jerseys that has a little bit of elastic material in it. I was really shocked when I got this. It actually feels cool to the touch. Like you can be indoors and you put your hand on it and it feels cool. And I thought I was imagining at first, but no, something about that specific blend just picks up that coolness, and even before you wear it, it feels like you're getting a little bit of cooling before you step onto the pitch. So in terms of how to avoid beyond materials, we do mostly sublimation, and that is it is affordable, but it also is usually the best choice for our clients because they are, we do a lot of rec league teams, Sunday league teams, but also, if you're in a really hot environment and you need to wash your jersey a lot. We just had this request actually from a team from California. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna be washing these jerseys a lot. Is this gonna stay put?" And yeah, if you're not using a vinyl transfer, or if you're not having a fancier badge that gets applied by heat transfer, then you're not going to have any issues. These are going to stay. The color's not going to fade. The colors aren't even going to run. You can wash them with whites or darks. They're going to stay put because the ink is basically baked into the fabric. So that's one thing that we do that is kind of the best of both worlds. It's affordable and it is more durable. I know you had focused on materials, but I think that's important to point out. Of course, when it's necessary or when it does provide value, like with the Maharlika kits, like what Brett's wearing, we really want that badge to stand out. They have a really unique crest. There's a texture in the middle, which is like a native pattern. So we do make sure I think we tested those to it's like 5 dry cycles at like 300 degrees. There are standards that you can test to make sure everything stays the way you want it to. So to answer the first question that you had, I think it was what company makes the best feeling jerseys. It's really hard to top. Nike and Adidas put so much time and effort and money into just innovation. They're constantly coming up with the next generation of materials. It's tricky because we don't wear jerseys the same way that players wear jerseys, right? Even if we wear them to run or to work out, we are not working or running at the same rate as the Kylian Mbappe's, the Lionel Messi.
Maybe you don't.
Sounds
I'm
like you're
built
not
different
giving enough
personally.
effort.
So with a caveat, I'll say, Adidas, I really do enjoy what they do with their authentic jerseys. The blend of fabrics is usually right between the front and the back. It just feels high tech. That said, if you're running at full speed and sweating in it, maybe you want something that doesn't feel like anything at all. I will say, and this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I think Puma gets a lot of hate for its ultra weave kits, and I bought one myself just to see what the material is like. I didn't hate it that much. I can understand why a collector would, because it does feel a little bit more papery, but it is also one of the coolest in terms of cool temperature wise materials that I've ever worn. And it was shocking wearing it to work out. It really just never got hot. It didn't really make sense. I think my brain still can't fully compute it. That said, I do understand why it's not popular, why collectors and players alike might not like it.
Yeah. I'm actually going to shoot you with a question that Smith Video Production posted. Sure. So do you have like a wish list of like maybe like a USL team or any other like USL team, like, oh, they had this sick badge, like I wish I could make their kits, or like you're like just designing kits for your favorite team and stuff like that? Like, who's your team that you would shoot that shot?
Yeah. you know, I think I will say we're making inroads towards that, and maybe I'm getting myself ahead of myself here, but you know, having started working with professional teams overseas, I really want to start to make that impact domestically as well. And we just signed our first UPSL team, and those jerseys will be coming out in a month's time. So it's not quite USL, but we're making our way there. You know, I think you could see from Brett's reaction. I have come out with a few jersey concepts for the Indy 11. Those were well received by fans, but you know, they have a really good designer base already, and you know, I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. And also, being a championship team, that's going to be more difficult. So, you know, I think we want to kind of make our way through the ranks. You know, UPSL, maybe NPSL as well. Up to League Two. We'll I think we can earn our way up through promotion.
I want to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, so I live outside of St. Louis. There's a USL League Two team that I'm gonna try to like tag you both because they're with a certain company right now and their kits are literally just a T-shirt. So
yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah. There is something to be said about, you know, having a partnership with a big brand like a Nike and Adidas, even if it's just a plain shirt. You know, there is a certain cachet to that, and you know, again, being a player myself, I get it. I tell my clients all the time, if you can get a Nike teamwear at the same price, then go for it. You know, that's going to look cool. Of course it is. But you know, if you want something bespoke that's designed purposefully, that's going to be different than what anyone else has, then, you know, I'm here for you.
That's always the thing that, and I always have to kind of remind people of this. Yeah, we talked about this before when we talked to Mark Crosby from Hummel. Like, while soccer people will look at Hummel and say, heck yeah, like 100+ years, they've been doing it forever. The designs are incredible. They are as close to home as they get. People who are not soccer fans see the swoosh and the 3 stripes and get very excited.
They know,
because people have their brands.
Brand recognition. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I know, like when Legion signed over to Hummel, I was very excited. But there were lots of comments that were like, what about Nike though? It's like, we've been wearing a white t-shirt. Get away from Nike. I don't care.
Also not knowing that, you know, sometimes teams have to pay at cost for Nike versus, you know, if you're with a Hummel or a Charlie, like you might be getting those kits essentially for free and you get better retail and you get better, you know, you're going to get a better deal versus just being another team that picks something from a catalog from them.
Which leads me to my personal last question. If they have any, we'll go from there. When you're trying to not just build domestically, like you mentioned, you signed with the UPSL team. Big congratulations. That should be coming out mid-March.
Yeah, I think in a month and a week, maybe.
Perfect. So with that, how do you market yourself to teams? Because like that is such a big part. Like it's never just going to happen on your own. Nobody's just going to come knocking at your door and say, hey man, we just happened to see someone in our town with your esports logo, or we just so happened to see this. You have to go knocking on their door. How do you go about that
season?
Yeah, we love kids season. Which, hey, that'd be cool. Actually, I do know some of you directors of content are watching this. You're my DMs. What's up? But that was really directed at one person. I love you. But I like, you know, how do you go and like bang on the doors without coming off as whiny, beggy, and being fully professional while being like, yo, you want me?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, especially being an independent brand, it's definitely a struggle. Everyone knows Nike and Adidas and Puma and Charlie and Hummel, and we're not one of those brands. I mean, even if you think about smaller brands than that here in the U.S., everybody knows Icarus. Some people might know Stimulus, some people might know Inaria, but really, it's if you're cool, Icarus is still indie enough, but they're big enough that, you know, they take a lot of the market share. I think the biggest thing I focused on is I guess being thankful to be in a position to be doing this at all. And then also knowing that it's going to be a slow build. A bulk of our work is still recreational or Sunday league teams. And I still get a lot of enjoyment out of that because, again, I'm a Sunday league player myself. I know it's important to have kits that make you look good and feel good when you're on the pitch, even if you might not play that well. So I think it's been about building the portfolio, not for myself but for the company, and finding opportunities where we can get them. Like with Maharlika, that was obviously a huge deal working with a professional team and an international team at that. And that's partially what helped inform the pay as you want strategy as well. Is wanting to get that work in the hands of people. I think anyone who's ever gotten a kit designed by us has been impressed once they see it in person. It's a lot harder through a screen to see like, oh no, this isn't just like a cheap T-shirt from China with some logos on it. Like this stands up to what the big brands produce. So I think now 3 or 4 years into it, we have enough of a track record that we can show like, hey, this is what we can do for you. We made this happen for this team and this team and this team. Here are all the designs that we've been able to come up with. You guys were kind enough to share some of those on the screen. Like I think those kind of speak for themselves too. We are not copying any designs from Nike or Adidas or anybody else. We are coming up with our original stuff, and we can do that for you as well. This might come as a surprise to you. We actually do reference a lot of lower league U.S. teams when pitching, not just in the U.S. but internationally as well. Especially in the UK, there's a weird fascination with lower league US soccer and specifically the kits, because these are teams that have not, been around for decades and decades, and they can kind of do whatever they want. They're not burdened by that tradition, and they can be more creative. So I'm looking at our pitch deck right now that we send out 2 teams, and there's a slide for Providence City. There's a slide for Kingston Stockade. There used to be a slide for Ford Madison, and we took that out just because it was too long. But, the business case is, hey, if you have jerseys that are popular, you can pay for all of your registration league registration fees. You can pay for travel. You can pay for this. You can pay for that. You can get fans from all around the world. A stat I'm looking at right now, Kingston Stockade, I think this is pretty well known because the owner published that think piece on, here's how to start a lower league soccer team. They achieved $56,000 in jersey sales in their first year of existence. They basically paid for the team to exist, straight up. It's the merchandising is paying for the product on the field, and that's something that's really powerful. That's something that, in the case of Maharlika Manila, this is a team that, really most people have no right of knowing that they exist.
Yeah.
And now we've reached 13 different countries. We have their jerseys in classic football shirts. That was a huge win for us last year. They're in mystery kit boxes all around Europe. That would not be possible if we didn't come along and create a design that was bespoke, that was custom for them, and then also we had the know-how to go out and promote it. So that's kind of our pitch, is that if you want to be different, if you want to potentially make a real impact, that's what we can bring to the table.
Also, just a little quick note on these. I think it was this year or last year's jerseys. Maharlika was voted like the best looking kits, I think, of the league. So that's also a nice little shout out being that, not every team can have that, right?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. That was it was a nice way to, I think it was like at the end of 2023, beginning of 2024, we'd already pretty much sold through all of our jerseys, but the fan vote was, those were the best jerseys of the league. So I was like, okay, we'll take that. That's a nice feather in the hat there.
Yeah, I guess I have one question that Rise of the USL kind of was alluding to as well. And I don't know how much you would have to deal with this, but sponsors, because I know you said you do a lot of, like rec leagues, Sunday leagues, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they probably don't have too many sponsors, you know.
Yeah.
But when you're getting into those pro teams and stuff like that,
Yeah,
is it just annoying to deal with, or
I will say so. Let's use Maharko as an example. They have a chess sponsor. They have a league sponsor. They're Qatar Airways. They have a sponsor on the sleeve. They have a sponsor on the back. They used to have short sponsors as well. Um, you know, we're fortunate, I think, in that this might be polarizing. I know jersey sponsors can be, especially for non-soccer fans, are kind of an ick.
Yeah.
But I think we were fortunate working with Maharlika that they had somewhat of a well-known sponsor. AIA is also the sponsor for Tottenham.
Yeah.
And we're also fortunate in that they use kind of a regional variation of the logo, which is pretty unique. It's got like mountains in it. It's not just the AIA, the word mark. There's a little bit more to it, and it's also unique because it's a round logo. So it's identifiable and it's unique, but it also is a challenge. At one point in designing the 2023 jersey, so like what Brett has on, there was a possibility that they would switch to a logo that was more horizontal, so more like a traditional jersey sponsor, wider than it is tall. And I'll be honest, we mocked it up and it looked terrible. And I was like, we're going to have to come up with a different design because, this is not going to work. This is not going to look great on the field. I don't think that's something we can be proud of. And fortunately, they stuck with AIA. And like I said, I think it's been successful because it is something that people recognize, but it's also different in a way. Another example I'll give, I recently saw, so there's a Chelsea home jersey a few years ago. I know I'm talking about Premier League now, but it was it had zigzags and it was kind of crazy. It was blue and yellow, and it has the 3 logo on it. And that jersey was widely panned. People didn't really like it. I recently saw it without the sponsor, and I think that was one of the first years of the sponsor, so maybe that was up in the air. I saw it without the sponsor, and it looked miles better. And part of me wonders, was that jersey designed at Nike? I mean, surely, those design cycles are 1 or 2 seasons in advance. Was that designed before they knew what the sponsor was? And did the sponsor kind of ruin it? So yeah, definitely, it's tough as a designer when that's out of your control. But you do kind of try to advise your club on that. Like, hey, there are consequences, there are implications if you do, change a sponsor, if you put a sponsor here versus there. So that's again something where that, fortunately, as kit collectors and as people who are passionate about them, I think we're able to advise them on. And yes, that Chelsea is absolutely too greedy for that.
I want to go ahead and just give a little quick shout out to the USL Show kit. The USL Show kit is coming out, the Splatter kit. Hey, this one's a really fun one, as we always do here at the USL Show. 100% of our proceeds go to charity. We don't see a penny of it. Would it make things easier on us if we saw it, the penny of it? Yes.
At least
don't
one.
like
No, I mean, no. Altruism.
Yeah, this is where, just be honest. Yes, it would make life a little bit easy because, hey, you guys show up and you show out and you buy and we appreciate you. But it also helps us know that we are giving it to a good cause. So we are going to Backyard Footy, which is owned or kind of ran by Hugh Roberts, which if you don't know, he is the highest minutes getter in USL history. He has the most minutes in league history. And he is the one that runs this. Still playing, still an absolute dog on the pitch, but he's also giving back with Backyard Footy, which is giving food and lots of different necessities to areas and people in need, which, hey, if we do what we did last time with the Carter Payne Fund, which judging by the amount of love that this kid is already getting, we're already looking to well surpass this. Last time we were able to donate $350 to the Carter Payne Fund down at South Georgia Tormenta. I would love to double that. And so if we can get, enough money to really make a difference in kids' lives and people's lives, we would love for you to be a part of that process. And there's a collar on it.
Yes.
Who
Collar on
designed this kit?
Fringe in the back.
No French on the back this time. Gee, who did design this one? I wouldn't happen to know who had done this one. Could it be one Philip Fox?
I will say this was a process. Brett suggested it. I came out with the concept, and then honestly, I'm trying to find it right now. I feel really bad that I can't give him the credit he needs. But one of our friends in our Discord, I'm so sorry, Pro, made it pretty.
Made it pretty.
That's
Yeah,
important.
that was Ben Goshorn. Ben
Thank you.
Goshorn did it.
Yes, thank you. My goodness, because
So a
my
kids season.
yeah. So
collaboration.
this is a community kit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but my Canvas skills didn't translate as well as I would like.
Better than mine. So.
Yeah, right.
Shout out to Olive in York. Respect
Love
what they're
Olive.
doing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Love them.
It's crazy
Sure.
the vast amount of designs that they put out into the world. It's
And for
Yeah.
charity too.
Crazy.
Like half of them too.
They did our new logo. They did both of our kits, and I'm look. Hey, listen. I don't know if you're in the hockey jersey game business yet,
Oh, yeah.
but apparently Olive in York is. So hey, jump on that one next.
good stuff.
'Cause,
Been doing
yeah.
more. We've done quite a few esports jerseys. I think I just got asked to do a rugby jersey. So
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah.
Nice.
done a
rugby
few
jersey.
baseball, softball.
Pickleball.
Oh man, a USL
actually,
show baseball
pickleball.
jersey would
Dude,
go
give me that.
crazy.
I don't
Which
care
one?
if this is a soccer show. I love a good baseball jersey.
Yeah, we.
It has
love
to be
baseball
better.
jerseys.
It has to be better than what Fanatics is doing right now.
Oh gosh.
What
Yeah.
sideways? Sorry.
Did you I don't know how I'm a big baseball guy. It seems like you've seen this, Austin Fox. Have you seen the new baseball jerseys?
Is it from Fanatics themselves? 'Cause
So
if
yes,
it's
so
produced by-
basically
I try not to talk
So-
trash about companies, but if it's printed or made by Fanatics,
You're
it is incorrect.
Yep.
so wait for my USL show Speedo. Yeah, Michael, I don't know if that one's happening. That one's the collector edition coming down the line. So basically Nike was doing this last year. So you saw how Nike was doing the logo or doing the jerseys in the past. It was still oh my gosh, who did it in the past? It starts with an M.
Majestic.
Oh,
Majestic, thank you.
Yeah.
thank you.
Majestic was still making the jerseys and the pants. They were making the uniforms, but Nike was just putting the swoosh on it. Well, Majestic was bought out by Fanatics, and now Fanatics is making everything, and Nike's just
do
putting
that.
their logo on it,
Yeah.
and it looks horrible. I'm going to do some quick producing, and I'm going to find that real fast because it
Same
is
with the NHL.
horrid.
The NHL, I've heard similar complaints.
The NHL is going to be even worse because it's Fanatics branded. It's not even Nike branded.
Yeah.
Yep.
As I say, like,
Next year I think it starts. I am dreading that.
because Fanatics. So I worked for Lids when we got
Okay.
bought out by Fanatics back in the day. I was just a manager. I wasn't cool and corporate and blah blah blah. But when we got bought out by Fanatics and they started making the NBA jerseys around the same time, so they would have it like you could buy the Nike one, or you
Mhm.
could buy the Fanatics one, and like it was such terrible quality. And yeah, like it's
Okay, so the one on the left is the one from last year. You know, you can see all this is like it fills everything. It's has like a good lettering. It's stitched lettering, and then you
Tackle
go
12.
over here, and this is all printed. It or the
it's like
the
screen print. Yeah,
screen printed on. And do you know what? Get ready for this, Fox. This is not the fan. This is what the players are wearing. This is not a replica. This is authentic.
No.
The one on the right is
They
authentic.
reduced the size of the names and numbers by I think like 2 to 3 inches, maybe. I don't know why. There's a lot of space there. Is
Yeah.
it just so it's lighter weight? I can't imagine that's
They
really
also they got rid of each team's custom fonts and they've all went to a uniform font. It is crazy. So yeah,
Like-
like
I will say
They
like the
got
nice
rid of
thing
it. That's-
about baseball jerseys. I think we've talked about this before, and same with like the NFL. Like if you buy 1 year of jerseys, usually there's like 5 jerseys a year, give or take, for baseball. At least as a Cardinals fan, you know we have the cream, the white, the red, the baby blue, the gray. So
Yeah.
like we have 5 typically in a season. I don't need to buy them every year.
I get that, but also
So,
like if there's a
makes me
new
happy.
player, if
That's why I
if
did
there's a
go with
player
that.
you like, a brand new exciting player, or like one of your
He'll get
favorite players
traded
just
next year because we're
retired, like
Cardinals.
one of your favorite players just retired, and you're getting a new one.
And
Like, I'm sorry, the biggest thing for me is that the one on the right is not a replica.
it's
That
Yeah.
is the authentic
So
thing.
sad.
Players are wearing that.
Mhm.
Players. That is crazy. Austin, listen, when you get into the baseball game, just do better than that. Do better than
I
that.
got you. I got you.
A USL show kit would, or a USL show baseball jersey would go
I
crazy.
need that. I need that.
Let's make it happen.
Let's do it. Hey, you have my email. Listen, Austin, it's fun chatting with you, learning all about kits, knowing how to like build a brand and seeing what's happening here. Your, Equipsios, the link's going to be in descriptions, all going to be pushed out there. So if you want to check out some of these kits and check out the one that's coming mid-March, spoilers.
And hey,
Um,
stay tuned because we might be giving away one.
Yes.
You here?
What?
There might be a
one?
small giveaway, and we know people love free things. Just saying. So, thank you all. Hey, really appreciate you, Austin.
Thank you.
It was an absolute ton of fun. And hey, anytime you want to come back, we're always here.
You bet.
Cool.
When
hey.
Indie releases their kit, same. I need another indie voice.
Let's do it.
Hey, let's do it.
We
Yeah.
have a lot of indie voices below me right now. Like this one is too much. All right.
Tough. All right.
Nah.
Well, listen, thank you all so much. And he wasn't. Oh, yeah, Julian's legend. Yeah, absolute legend. And yeah, let's get Brett to be spokesman.
Are you hiring anything, Austin?
I'm sorry.
Are you hiring?
I think the line's behind Brett.
So appreciate you all. Even though he wasn't on here, he's not on kit season. We still like having his beautiful voice. Thank you, and Austin. And here is Alan for the outro.
Thank you for watching another episode of the USL Show.
The USL Show is now proudly part of the Protagonist podcast family. Please go to protagonistsoccer.com to check out more work. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see everyone again next time.